lately we've seen most of our clients in this very fast growth mode, and that's either through hiring several people at one time or even acquiring another business. And there is a lot of nuance to that can be very stressful and really make and break the relationship of a whole bunch of new employees coming in to employees who have worked together for a really long time. And it's, we look at it like change management of how are we going to integrate and make sure that the expectations of employees that have been in a company for a long time, they feel comfortable in their positions and in their jobs and in their roles and relationships in the company. And for these new employees, let's just say that we're talking about someone who's acquired another team.
Yeah.
You have an entire team coming in who they have their own relationships and they have their own structure and the way that they've done things for a really long time. And so it is so important to have a strategy that crafts the message to your existing employees, that crafts a message to the new employees so that everyone's on the same page and so that everyone feels very comfortable and very secure in their job. Because a lot of the times in these acquisitions or in large hiring droves is that there's going to be misplacement and displacement. And so we look at that as managing change in a way that is clear and transparent for everyone while being very careful in the way that we're delivering this message, because there might be job loss, there might be displacement. And so if you could talk a little, Shannon, about change management and what it looks like to prepare for an acquisition or a heavy growth period and the messaging that goes to your current employees and to the new and incoming employees.
Yeah, because you're right. It really is all about communication. It's all about managing that message and how it's getting delivered, when it's getting delivered, and getting in front of the questions that people are going to have. And so through a change management strategy, things that you're thinking about, right, are, I always kind of approach it from put myself in the position of the employee, the existing one who now all of a sudden has 50 new people on their team and is probably worried about job security, and the person who's joining this new company who feels maybe like a fish out of water.
Right.
What are the core questions we're going to get? Let's be really tight on what is the message. Be really clear up front on the things we know employees are going to have questions and concerns about. Job security, if there's going to be reorganization of their teams or their roles, all of those things. So getting in front of those questions, having a communication plan to every layer of management. Because what oftentimes happens is, your executive leadership team feels very confident talking about what this big change is through this acquisition.
Right.
But a first level manager maybe who has an associate that comes to them and is like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Am I going to lose my job?
Right.
You want that manager to feel just as equipped to answer those questions. So making sure that your managers have even an FAQ document,
right,
that even if they are having a team meeting and sitting with that one pager, you at least know that the message that is being communicated to this team over here looks exactly the same as the message that's getting communicated to this team over, on the other side.
Right.
And so that consistency, that clarity, that timing to be all on the same page, those are all things that you don't want to wing.
Right.
You want to be really in control of and thoughtful with.
Right. And I think that it's what a great way to build further trust with your existing team and start the trust process with your new team. Mm-hmm. Because it's scary. Even talking about, is my salary going to be the same? Are my benefits going to change? Those are reasonable questions for people to ask. They're not asking just for themselves, but for their families. They need to plan. And so getting ahead of it, I think, and winging it is not the way to do it. It's
not the way.
not the way. So we need a plan, and you've put together plans for change management, and we've worked through some heavy growth with some of our clients and their employees, and it's always stressful, but it's always fun. It's a sign of success when you're growing quickly, but it can be such a fail point if it's done wrong.
And I think the other thing that I would be remiss not to mention is that there's a great opportunity when you're thinking about bringing these teams together to leverage peer-to-peer training, to find ways to, artfully have these new coworkers work together, to train and share on best practices, to identify people from these maybe previously two different companies who really are thought leaders or really wonderful in whatever area they're skilled at, and give them opportunities and platforms to train others and share those best practices and allow that collaboration to happen. And so facilitating that through trainings or brainstorming sessions or fireside chats, there's so many different ways it can happen. But again, being very intentional with creating those opportunities for your teams.
Yes, absolutely.